Hey guys, Qui-Gon Jake here, and welcome to a BYP review of team logos and mascots. This is anyone who normally watches my channel. This is completely out of left field. So let me just do a quick introduction. So my brother Alex he's the commissioner for what's called the BYP, which is the Backyard Projects, which is it's taking OOTP, or out of the park, uh, baseball seasons, and he's customized it to the point of having custom teams, custom logos, custom players, and there's a whole community. I will link his Twitch channel is where he streams in this video. So anyone who's interested in potentially even maybe making your own creative custom character, go look at his channel. Go get involved. It's a lot of fun. I was honored to be able to be a part of making the BYP work in a couple ways, as did most of the logos. I think I only helped on the nobles, is the ones that I helped make a small change. Otherwise, this was all Alex. So I'm going to do a tier list, as we just had a stream earlier today where we kind of reviewed how this past season went and what we liked, what we didn't like with the logos and such. And I was like, you know what? Doing a tier list sounds like a fun thing to do. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to disclaimer, get us out of the gates. This is completely subjective. My views and opinions are not what's the legal phrase? Are not, it's not that they're not indicative, are not going to be universal. They are not going to be completely shared by the league. This is just my own humble opinion on this. So let's go ahead and get started. First up, we have the Admirals. I really do like their logo. I like the ship. I like the color scheme. I like the font. I'm going to put them in a solid A tier, A for Admirals. It definitely is a good look. The logo might be the only thing that I might make changes to, but it's simple and it gets to the point, and you can't do this large mega ship. For a logo, it wouldn't be practical. But yeah, I think they are a solid A tier. Great way to get this started. Okay, we have the Apollos. The Apollos. Man, oh man, I like their color scheme. And I like their logo, but it just doesn't work. I don't know what it is. It's like this has all the makings. The font is great. The color scheme is all right. The logo is fine, but for whatever reason, this just doesn't fly. Pun intended. I don't think they're D tier, but they are definitely nothing higher than a C. So we're gonna put the Apollos. I'm gonna put the Apollos in C tier. Next one, the Armadillos. The Armadillos are fun. They're a very nice brown and amarillo, or yellow for English speakers. I would put them personally in B tier, where they are definitely a good logo, good color scheme, all in all decent. I might only change the logo font, or the font coloring. I wouldn't do a dark yellow within a regular yellow. I might do like a black or a brown and swap them inside and out. I don't know. That might be the only suggestion I might make on theirs. Next up, we have the Bears. Bears are solid. Personally, and this might become controversial, I am going to put the Bears in B tier. The logo's fine, the font's great, the color scheme is good, but I just don't like the logo. I just don't like it. Now, this team was supposed to represent the Panda Bears, and from a previous season, so hence the black and white. But it just doesn't call to me. And also, just another quick disclaimer, I might move these things around as I see fit as we go through this. There's only 24 teams, though, so just a heads up. But yeah, I think the Bears, they're a good solid B, but I definitely wouldn't put them higher than that. Next one, the Captains. Oh, yes. Captains and Admirals, to me, are like peas in a pod. They are both very good icons. I'm actually tempted to put the Captains in S tier. I love their logo. I like their colors. Again, the only thing I could potentially change, and that's probably why I'm going to keep them at A tier. I think the font could use some improvement. Again, a dark gray and a light gray, I wouldn't do that. I would use either the nice light blue or a white for the boundaries. But they are a very solid logo. I love the soldier. I think this is like a sergeant though, not quite a captain, but details. But still a solid A tier. Next one up, we have the Cluckers. This is a fun one. I like the Cluckers logo, but I don't love it. I like it, but I just don't love it. I think it's a good B tier, another good B tier, and I wouldn't really change much of it. It is an all right, good, average logo, and it does good. I'm not sure there's much more to say besides that. Let's do the next one, the Coyotes. Now, I'm on the Coyotes. I'm a little conflicted. I love the red tan combo of colors. And I don't think that my opinion on this is going to be also, again, this might be controversial. I personally think the Coyotes are A tier. I love the logo. I love the font. I love almost everything about this. In fact, I would almost put them in S tier. I like the Coyotes that much. The only thing I would probably change is tone the red down to more of a maroon. But the red is still great. The red is great. The logo is fantastic. This is definitely in my opinion, one of the best logos in the BYP. But it's not S tier, and we will get to the S tier here soon. Ducks. Ducks, ducks, ducks. I like the Ducks logo, and I like the font. Well, let me rephrase that. Let me back that up. I love the color scheme. It reminds me so much of the Oregon Ducks. Maybe a little too much. But I like the Ducks, but I don't like the teeth in the logo. That's just really strange to me. So I'm going to put the Ducks at another good solid B tier. That's probably where most of these logos are going to end up, as a good solid B tier. I like the Ducks. I'm not in love with them. I'm not in love with them. Next one up, the Frogs. Okay, the Frogs. The problem with the Frogs, in my opinion, is they're just too one-dimensional color scheme. You've got light green, dark green, and white. They're going to need, I think, some love this year. I'm going to put them down here in C tier. I think their logo is going to have to go through some changes in the off-season. It's just green and white. And yes, frogs are like that, and you have Kermit the Frog here, and stuff like that. But it just doesn't speak to me in ways that, say, even the armadillos. I prefer the armadillos over the frogs, and they're very similar style. You have a circle with a team logo, hooking over it in the background. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite. Now we have the next one, the big Giants. Giants, A tier. Solid A tier. Like, that logo mascot, oh, it's so good. In fact, actually, you know what? S tier. Giants are S tier. I would change very little about the Giants. The nice dark green, the gray and the white, and that amazing logo with the tusks. Oh, Giants, you are S tier. Again, you may not share that opinion, but that's okay. Let me know in the comments what you think was the best of the logos. Next one we have is the Goats. Oh man, good B tier. They're cute. The little eyes that are closed is funny. The font is very barnyardy. It fits. Not A tier, but a good solid B tier. I like the Goats logo. It's cute. Next up we have the Jazz. Oh man, I did not like their logo this year. And the reason for that is I designed all the uniforms for all these teams in the backyard projects for the previous season, for this past season. The Jazz, getting their logo to work with the uniforms was a pain in the butt. Oh my gosh, I had to do, what was it, 2-3 different attempts to get their logo and the uniform to match. There's too many color conflicts. I'm not a fan of the I'm okay with the font, I suppose, but the logo is just not, it just doesn't, I don't like it, just to be quite honest. So that's where they're getting C tier for me. Next up, we have the Kings. Kings coming in D tier. Don't like the logo, don't like the colors, don't like the mascot. Just the Kings just did not work out this year. They just did not work out for them, and I was a little disappointed by the outcome. Even though I put some time and effort trying to get them to look better, I could not salvage it. So Kings are going to be a D tier for me. Next up, the Mythics. And I think it's pretty obvious where the Mythics go. One of, if not the best, logos, color schemes, and font in the BYP, without a doubt. Without a doubt. The Mythics, I love the unicorn. I love the purple, pink, and white. Some of their uniforms look amazing. The merch for the Mythics is fantastic. I like it. I like it a lot. Next up, we have the Ninjas. The Ninjas, I am okay with them, but I don't like it. I'm okay with their logo, but it's just not my favorite. So, I mean, I'd keep it in B tier, I suppose, but I'm almost inclined to put them in C tier. So I think I'm going to do that for right now. Again, I think the community liked the Ninjas. I know Alex liked the Ninjas logo. There's too much pink. I really think having like a hot pink with a nice solid black or charcoal gray would really go a long way for their logo. Anyway, next one, the Nobles. I am going to be upfront. I am very biased with this one because I actually helped design their logo. Initially, all that was black was just a very dark brown. It was really muddy, really kind of gross. I had the idea of like, okay, what if we change that to black? And I'm not sure if the eyes were a different color. I think the eyes may have been black and this was brown. I forget what the original logo was, but it did not look nearly as good as it does now, with that beautiful red and that kind of bronzium color as well. Kind of like if you guys can remember back to, or unless you've done it recently, like an icy, Coca-Cola flavored icy. That's the color that it reminds me of. Beautiful. I love the Nobles logo. Really nice. Next one, the Pioneers. Man, oh man. Did not, looking back, they have too many colors that are similar to other teams like the Armadillos or the Kings or the Nobles, and I don't like the logo itself. It's all brown and white, and the sky is like it's a dust storm with the tent even being brown. It's just, the logo doesn't work at all for me. The colors don't work at all for me. The only thing that kind of is nice is well, even not even the font. The E looks really weird. That middle part of the E just looks really strange. Definitely hoping to see the Pioneers get a rework in the off season. Next one up is the Queens. Man, oh man, Queens. After winning the playoffs, spoilers, they're another solid A tier. That color scheme is just shouts dominance. The logo is fantastic. The color scheme is very Frankenstein. And man, that's a hard one. They are either A or they're S tier. They're one of the two. One of those two. I'll have to revisit them. Next one up is the Reapers. Now, Az made a very good point in the stream earlier today that due to, I think it's either like restrictions in East Asia, they can't showcase logos that have blood on them. So, what a lot of anime does is it makes the blood a very purplish pink. And so because of that, and the cleverness that he imbued, Reapers are A tier. I think Reapers are a good A tier. I personally am not a fan of the color pink, but I have to give the logo and the whole system props. The logo is wicked good. Color scheme is the only thing that keeps this thing from being an S tier, in my opinion. The font looks great. Again, that logo is just so dark. I went in and tried to see how the Reapers would look if I changed all the pink to red. It looks worse with red. Surprisingly, I'm like, okay, maybe if it was like, if we made an exception. No, straight up, the Reapers logo is perfect just the way it is. Again, the only reason it's not S tier is just because I'm not a huge fan of that incredible pink, but I absolutely respect it for what for how it works and for what it is. Next up, we have the Robins. D tier. Robins are too similar to other teams like the goats, and we're about to get to the next one, the squirrels. The colors are the same. Robins are not it's like frogs. Frogs are okay, but if you could spice up the color scheme of the frogs, that would be much nicer. The robins just are to me, one of the weakest bird choices that we really could go with. Something like the hawks or the eagles, the falcons, or even things like the cardinals or the blue jays, or swallows. That would be a big step up from the robins. So I'm really hoping that this team gets revisited during the off season. Both colors, the font's okay, but I think the team name and the colors and logo need to change. Just my opinion. Next one up, we have the squirrels. Those goofy little squirrels. I'd put them in B tier. They're kind of charming in their own way, just like the goats. Definitely not anything higher than B tier. The logo, the mascot just leaves a little bit to be desired. The color scheme's okay. Maybe do, instead of a tan stomach, do a white stomach. Some minor adjustments I might suggest, but other than that, the squirrels are pretty fun. They're a fun little bunch. Next up, we have the swatters. Swatters, to me, they're C tier. They're kind of in the same boat as the Apollos, where it should work, but for this team, this logo and this color scheme doesn't. Just doesn't work. And that is it's unfortunate because it's a cool team. They had a great year, but just the ice blue and white is that's just all there is to it. It's just so one dimensional, kind of like the frogs. Teams like the Bears, it's an epic logo. And the mascot is fantastic, but for the Apollos and the Swatters, I just can't get fully behind their logos and color schemes. So that's why Swatters are getting C tier. Warlocks. I may be very biased because this is the team I drafted for this past season, but they are a solid BYP S tier team. The color scheme is fantastic. The text font is amazing. The logo is freaking scary. Oh, I love the Warlocks logo, color scheme, and font. All about it. I love it so much. And then last but not least, we have the Whistlers. Now, I wasn't aware of just the history of the Whistlers and how their font and logo has not changed. As much as I don't want to, I'd have to agree. Whistlers are S tier. It's a whistle ball, for starters, a wiffle ball or a whistle ball, because, wiffle balls whistle when you throw them. The stash is just epic. The colors are very classic, reminiscent of the early days of baseball with that nice, lovely tan, red, and navy blue. And I gotta give them props. There really isn't anything I would change. This logo is S tier, BYP S tier material. So, that is my ranking of all of the logos for Season 2. Or technically this would be Beta Season 2, I believe is what the terminology is. So, what do you guys think? Agree, disagree, likes, dislikes? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.